Hey, I'm Aja A, and welcome to Sunshine Haze. Don't forget to check out all the links that I have listed down in the description box, and if you like the video, please give me a little thumbs up. If you have any questions after the video is over, feel free to drop them down below. I try to respond to everyone. And if you all know people interested in astrology, numerology, tarot, or whatever I'm talking about on this channel, go on and send them this link. And don't forget to hit subscribe. And of course, thanks for tuning in and rocking with me. May this info help y'all live your best lives. Peace. What's good, you guys? Welcome back. As this is one of my videos, it is time for me to talk about another major lunation. This time we are having a full moon in the sign of the scales, which is Libra. Let's just jump right into it. For those of you guys that are not really familiar with what type of energy goes along with the full moon, I do associate this lunation with cleansing, release, also gaining illumination, enlightenment, and also gaining clarity. That's what I was going for. Everybody hears about, when the full moons are popping off, people are all emotional, and that is very much true because the moon does govern our emotions. And with the full moon, I do like to say that I like to compare it to our cup runneth over with emotions. So full moons are definitely a time where you do see emotions kind of tend to come into play a little bit more than normal, and that could be in terms of just happiness, anger, sadness, whatever, just a little bit more intense than normal. This time around we are having, like I said, the full moon in the sign of Libra, and it is a very special moon. It is a super moon, so with that being said, that means that it is very close. It is at its closest point to the earth. And when we have super moons, that means the energy is a little bit, actually let me not play out. It means the energy is very much so amplified. On top of this moon being a super moon, it is also the last full moon of the astrological year. We are in the Pisces lunar season, which means we are wrapping it up, getting ready to go into the Aries lunar season, which starts off the new astrological year. So on top of that intense super moon energy, on top of the full moon energy, we also have the energy of this being the last full moon of the year, which does mean that the energy for this moon can hit you in a very intense way, but it is also doing a lot of major work under the surface subconsciously, okay? All right, let's talk about Libra. Before I do, this full moon is gonna be on Wednesday, March 20th. I wanna say April, and I don't know why I know why I want to say April. March 20th. And it's going to be at 9:43 p.m. and that is Eastern time. So do your calculations if you are curious to know what time the full moon is happening wherever you are. Libra is the sign of the scales. Libra is associated with justice. It is also associated with karma. Libra is ruled by Venus, so it is associated with love and romance and things of that sort. Also fairness, and it's also the sign associated with charity. I do forget that, but Libras are very giving, they're very loving, and they are, if you know any Libras, they are definitely people who have a need to make sure that other people are okay, and they will give if they have it, and if they don't, they will find a way because they are an air sign. They got that intellectual energy pop, and they'll figure a way to get the people around them that they love, whatever it is that they need. Okay, so with this being a full moon, we're talking about release, we're talking about illumination, and we're talking about clarity. One of the energies, one of the things that we'll be dealing with for this next couple of weeks is gaining, having this aspect of our lives illuminated, where because we're dealing with the scales, and this is a full moon dealing with release, we'll be looking at where we need to, what energies, what situations, what cords need to be cut in regards to what needs to get swept out for us to come into balance. And balance in these terms, I am going to make interchangeable with the word alignment. The energy with this full moon is very much so coming into alignment with what I like to say the best version of yourself, which is the truest version of yourself. If you watch my videos from the past year, or even if you didn't, if you're into, energy and stuff like that, and, astrology, you do know that this last year, even though we are in a new year right now, very mostly was an 11-2 year, which was all about gaining enlightenment, all about figuring out the things that we need in our lives, figuring out where we need to heal in order for us to, again, become the best, to figure out what the best version of ourselves is, to figure out what we love, what we don't love, what we need, what we don't need, what we want, what makes us happy, and how we can get to that point. This Libra full moon is giving us a little bit of clarity, giving us, illuminating this aspect to say, okay, we figured all of these things out, so now we know exactly how and what we need to let go within these next couple of weeks in order, again, to come into balance, to fall into alignment with the best version of ourselves. And again, this is a super moon, and it is the last full moon of the astrological year, so this really is a time, anything that you've been holding on to, any little chips that are still on your shoulder, any things that are weighing heavy on your heart, situations, anything that's kind of clouding your mind, this is the time to do the work to really start releasing that. And these things do take time to let go of, but when you do it underneath this type of energy, you really do see how it helps in your healing process, in the process of letting go, in the process of release. Talk about illumination, talk about clarity. Okay. Also, because this is the last full moon of the year, and Libra is associated with justice and karma, we are talking about wrapping up cycles. And again, we're talking about wrapping up the whole last year from last March up until this point. And we're also underneath the Pisces lunar cycle, which does lend in the water element, which is associated with cleansing. So again, this is the time you figure out what you need to figure out with that air energy associated with Libra. What do we need to get rid of? What needs to be let go? And then with the water energy of Pisces, it's like, okay, let's go on and wash ourselves clean in the water. Let's splish splash a little bit and get rid of whatever we need to get rid of, because we are getting ready to come into a new. And when we start this new astrological year, it's under the energy of Aries, and Aries is cardinal, Aries is fire, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. I'll have a video upon that in a couple weeks. I do like to talk about the shadow aspects of the signs and the energy that is associated with it. Libra, when operating on their shadow side, they can be very indecisive. They can also be a little, scared, hesitant, straight up paranoid at some points. They can be insensitive, and they can also be a little naive. So underneath this full moon, especially because we have Mercury retrograding in Pisces, which is the sign of the little fishies with the tails tied together, you can expect to feel a little hazy, to feel a little bit confused in regards to the things that you want to let go of. And an example of that would be understanding or knowing there's a situation that you need to move away from. With this energy operating on the shadow side, you could be in that, oh, but it was cool at one point in time. Why can't I just make it? I could fix it. It can get better. Just be very mindful during this time of what you're thinking about, of your thoughts. Pay very close attention to them, especially with all this Pisces influence. Pay attention to your dreams too. Sidebar. With that hesitant shadow energy of Libra also, because we know it's time to wrap up certain cycles, because we know it's time to move on and time to get new shit popping, you can feel a little hesitant or a little afraid to take certain leaps or to take a risk and take certain opportunities that are presented to you. We are in a Mercury retrograde, so what I would say is, if you do have opportunities presented to you, or if you do have major decisions to make, really take some time to think things out. And if you can hold off on making a decision until we're out of the shadow period of Mercury retrograde, I would do that. But if in your heart, if you follow your intuition, if you feel like something can change your life and you feel like this is the time to do it, because not everybody's affected by Mercury retrograde in the same way. If you feel like this is the time to do it, and like I said, your heart, your little mind, and your spirit tells you to do so, take that leap. You might be feeling that hesitation, but chalk that up to the full moon in Libra and the shadow energy. So try to operate on the light side if you can for these next couple of weeks, for all the time, but for sure if you can these next couple of weeks, especially with this intense energy associated with this moon. It's an air moon, so again, this is a time to really process our emotions and really think about the things that are weighing heavy on us and what needs to be released from our souls and our spirits and from our hearts, as I like to say. With the air moon, sometimes the emotions are not as intense as they usually are, but there's a lot of heavy Pisces water energy surrounding this here, so very likely that you're still probably going to be dealing with a little bit of emotions, but at the same time it could be a little bit lighter than other lunar cycles, just depending on what kind of placements and aspects you have in your chart. Libra is cardinal. Sorry, I'm like, wait, we're talking about Pisces. Pisces is not cardinal, but this is the Libra full moon video. Libra is cardinal. Libra's cardinal. It starts off the fall season. And the cardinal signs are associated with the energy of new beginnings, of getting things started, of bringing in new ideas. So especially with that Aries lunar cycle coming in right after this, we really are feeling the urge to get new things popping. We're really like, okay, I know who I want to be and I know what I want to do. I'm ready. Let's go. Just keep in mind that this is the time to release before you get your gears going. So you just have to kind of clean up a little bit. I like to say crumbling foundations to clear out space to make way for new pillars. This could be a time where you see some foundations crumbling, but I feel like this is more so in regards to things that you have seen either fall apart or fade away during this past astrological year, and we're kind of just, you know, tidying up, going behind ourselves and picking up the debris that was left behind in order to get ready for what's getting ready to come in for us, okay? All right, let's talk a little bit about the numerology of this moon. This, on top of all this intense ass energy, this full moon is in 0 degrees of Libra. So 0, we're already dealing with karmic energy. We're already dealing with the energy of cycles, and dealing with the energy of release and endings, because of that Pisces mutable energy, and with this being a full moon. 0 is the number of amplification. So this moon is intensified by the degree that it falls in. It is also the number of, it is the number of infinity. People like to say 8 is the number of infinity, which I say that also, but 0 is never ending. But it also does represent endings, and it also represents new beginnings. So we are really in the energy of wrapping things up in order to step forward into our next chapters. And this is a really exciting energy. You may feel very light during this period. At the same time, you may feel a little heavy depending on how the moon is hitting your chart. But again, coming into alignment, really falling into alignment with who we're supposed to be for whatever this next chapter is for all of us individually. Again, coming into that space to where you do resonate with what it is that you truly feel you are supposed to be doing and the type of person that you're supposed to be, okay? All right, y'all. Okay, this moon falls on an 8 day, and I was just talking about the number 8 being the number of infinity. So we're talking about cycles again, just amplifying that energy of wrapping things up with this being the last full moon of the astrological year. And 8 is also a number of success and building and abundance. So, you know, everything, especially during these next couple of weeks, the things that pop up for you, have gratitude. No matter how these situations, you know, came in and messed up or changed your lives, have gratitude for the things that you have experienced over this past year, because I like to say that our experiences mold us. They make us who we are, and they help us become the people that we want to be, depending on the lessons that we pick up and the energies that we pick up and the things that we learn. So over these next couple of weeks, as you see the things that are releasing, as you see the changes that have come in or that is getting ready to come in for yourself, make sure that you are like, you know, thank you God, or thank you universe, or whoever you talk to, whatever you believe in, just put a very gratuitous energy out there, because these things were needed for you to progress, okay? Okay, all right, so let's wrap it up. This full moon is definitely a time for us to gain some clarity on the things that need to be released, on what energies we need to let go of and rid ourselves of from the past year, and for us to see exactly what we need to do, what types of energies we need to bring in order for us, again, to fall into alignment with the best version, the truest version of ourselves. This is a good time if you do intentions like burn lists or like take moon baths. I don't know what y'all do, but I write lists and I burn them during the full moons. This is a good time for you to write intentions in regards to releasing dense and stagnant and negative energy accumulated over the past year. This is a good time to write intentions in regards to really moving past situations that you have been working to release. Good time to write intentions for, I'm sorry, I was looking for a certain word and I can't think of it, but excuse me, getting rid of what is creating, you know, any confusion in your mind in regards to what's coming next. Really a good time for releasing intentions, okay? This is the last full moon of the astrological year, and it is a super moon, and it is underneath the water lunar cycle, so you do want to hone in on that energy, and it is in 0 degrees. The people that are going to be affected mostly by this moon are by this moon are people with Libra moons in 0 degrees for sure. Anybody with their moon in air or in 0 degrees or within 6 or 7 degrees either way of that. If you've got your personal planets in Libra or have a Libra heavy chart or an air heavy chart or a cardinal heavy chart, you can definitely expect to be affected by this moon, okay? Also, this moon is happening on the same day as the vernal equinox. It's the same day as the first day of spring, so that also intensifies the energy of this moon. And when I say that, that doesn't necessarily mean that your life is going to be all crazy. That just means the work that's being done energetically, the shifts that are happening are on the next level, as opposed to, you know, just coasting. And we're never coasting, but they're a little bit higher than what we think is coasting throughout the year. And I think that's it. That's where my notes stop. So thank you guys for tuning in. I will see y'all next time.